overjoyed. They referred to me as a mother, not a grandmother. Shakespeare said that it is worth more to be trusted than loved. I know this is to be true in all relationships. Thank you for trusting me. I hope you feel the same way when we're finished. School board, faculty, parents, and superintendent, and 2012 graduates. These are some of my dearest friends up here. We rejoice with you today as this rite of passage calls for you to close the doors to GHS and go forward to open new doors. The doors you choose to open will define you. Two doors that I chose to open that have defined me are the barn door and the schoolhouse door. This is my last time to talk to you, and I know that you learn best when I tell you my experiences. So I want to tell you about my farm life. There are a lot of farmer stories that are mostly true, but this one is mostly not. Two sisters from Texas, one blonde and one brunette, inherit the family ranch. Unfortunately, after just a few years, they are in financial trouble, as most farmers are. In order to keep the bank from repossessing the ranch, they need to purchase a bull so that they can produce their own stock. Upon leaving, the brunette tells her sister, "Honey, when I get there, if I decide to buy the bull, I will contact you to drive out after me and haul it home." The brunette arrives at the man's ranch, inspects the bull, and decides to buy it. The man tells her that he will sell it for $599. This story is older than I am. You can't buy a good steak for that now. After paying him, she drives to the nearest town to send her sister a telegram to tell her the news. She walks into the telegraph office and says, "I want to send a telegram to my sister telling her that I've bought a bull for our ranch, and I need her to hitch the trailer to our pickup truck and drive it out here so we can haul it home." The telegraph officer explains that he'll be glad to help her and then adds, "It will cost 99 cents a word." Well, after paying for the bull, the brunette realizes that she'll only be able to send her sister one word. And after a few minutes of thinking, she nods and says, "I want you to send her the word comfortable." The operator shakes his head. How is she ever going to know that you want her to hitch the trailer to the pickup truck, drive out here to haul that bull back to your ranch if you send her just one word? And the brunette explains, "Honey, my sister's blown. The word is big. She will read it slowly. Comfortable." On Main Street in Grace, and I was called the city girl. But my school friends were all farmers' children. They seemed to have everything they needed in a surplus, and they complained that they didn't have much and that they were about to lose the farm. But they always had cars, gas, and hamburgers, and were generous with me. And I thought, boy, if this is poverty, give me some. During the summer before graduating from Grace High School in 1957, don't add, I got a job working for the Grace Wright family in Cleveland, and they had a job description, but I like getting up early and walking through the meadow to milk the cow. I had never milked a cow, and at first it wasn't easy. But soon I got the knack of it. I could bring a bucket of milk to the house that would make the farmer proud. I decided that when I married, it'd be to a farmer. I went to college for 3 years and returned to Grace off and on and discovered that neither had a bunch of bachelor farmers. Jay Dalton had just returned from the Korean War and a mission, and a friend arranged a blind date. We became friends. He told me I'd be cute if I combed my hair. My hair's always been a problem. Peggy fixes it now and then. He had a cute smile, a new fin-tailed baby blue Chrysler, and he wasn't lazy. He offered to marry me if I combed my hair. But there were more places I wanted to see, and I flitted off to Minnesota, Salt Lake, Pocatello, California, and Montana. Now, my Jim didn't care so much what my hair looked like. He thought I was cute because I had a job. Anyway, back to 1960. Jay said that he would never ask me to marry him again. And if I wanted to get married, I'd have to ask him. So I did. Girls, there are some things you can't be shy about. And I felt very strongly that this would be a good venture. So in 1960, I quit my studies at ISU and asked Jay to marry me. And I became a dairy farmer. During the summer, Jay moved pipe and planted and all that work, and I did the milking. We had about 30 cows in a grade A dairy farm. We got along very well until I tore the door off the bluefin Chrysler backing up to the gas tank. I learned he didn't always wear that cute smile. Every wreck I ever had in my life was in reverse. It's the truth. They shouldn't put a reverse in cars. Just a tidbit of advice on marriage, my little friends. I'm not interested in how lovey-dovey your relationship is. Loving comes naturally. What I want to know is how you fight and solve differences. That will tell me if your relationships will make it 50 years. Fighting fairly and unselfishly takes work. It's an art. In fact, my definition of love is two people fighting like hockey sticks to stay happily together. Now, I have wrecked several of Jim's cars. But he has learned how to hit the canvas in great style, come up smiling, have a bear hug, and get ready for round 2. Foster cooperation in your relationships rather than competition for power. You learn a great deal on the farm, and one day when I was expecting our first child, Jay came to the house and wanted me to go with him to the barn to watch the birth of a new calf. He said, "Oh, it's natural and easy process. Nothing to fret about." With some apprehension, I went to the barn, but things didn't go quite that easily. He had to pull the little creature into the world. After the stick and twine method broke or didn't work out, he went for the tractor, and I went fretfully and shakily to the house and called Dr. Hull. This calf would have gladly traded places with Mitt Romney's dog. So much for easy and natural. The farm life was better than the rigors of college work, but to this day, no matter where I am, I have a strong pull towards the farm when 5 o'clock comes. That's called not occupational handicap. Again, I say that I liked milking cows. I missed it. When they misbehaved, I could give them a body slam. And it felt so good, to be honest. I missed it when I became civilized and a teacher. I think a cow milker has a straight shot to heaven. Socrates was a Greek philosopher. He said, "Who's to say what is good and what is bad?" Now I need to explain this. Leanne, Sally, Brandy, and Lacey and a bunch of the girls hopped into a big van. They had won 3 tickets to a concert in Salt Lake. Yay, that's good. On the way to the concert, they wrecked the car. Boo, that's bad. The insurance will buy a new car. Yay, that's good. And the cute boys who rescued them want to see them again. Now, who's to say whether that is good or bad? I say that's bad. Wait until you're 21. Get your education so you will be extra cute and independent. You'll need it if you don't know how to fight. Brady Simons found himself in a great deal of blistering hot water. Mr. Brady showed up and said, "Mr. Simons, I will take your place. I'm used to hot water. In fact, a mighty hot bath is just like marriage. Once you get used to it, it isn't so hot." They came to comfort him. "Oh, such bad luck. We're sorry your horse ran away," they said. "Well, who's to say whether it's good or bad?" replied the farmer. "All I can say for sure is my horse has run away. Time will tell whether this is good or bad." His neighbors just shook their head and walked away. A week later, his horse returned home along with 20 wild horses. His neighbors, upon hearing the news, came to congratulate him. "Oh, what good luck you have! Not only did your horse return, but he brought with him 20 more. Such a lucky man you are." "Well, who's to say whether it's good or bad?" said the farmer. "All I know is my horse has come home along with 20 wild horses, and leave it at that." Again, his neighbors shook their heads and scoffed. "Of course it's good luck, you old fool. 20 new horses is obviously good luck." Next week, the farmer's son was out riding in the pen with the new horses and fell off and broke his leg. Upon hearing the news, the neighbors came over to comfort the farmer. "You were right. Those wild horses were not a sign of good fortune. Now your son has broken his leg right before the harvest. Such bad luck." Again, the farmer replied, "Why do you constantly want to find something as good as bad or bad? Why can't you just say my son has broken his leg while riding a horse and leave it at that? Who's to say whether it's good or bad?" Upon hearing this, the neighbors were indignant. "Listen, old man, to have your son break his leg at this time is unfortunate and a sign of bad luck. You are such a fool to think otherwise." The following week, an army came to town and drafted all the eligible young men and sent them off to war in a faraway place. They did not take the farmer's son on account of his broken leg, and afterwards the people were heartbroken and came to the farmer in tears. "Oh, you were right. Our sons are gone. We'll probably never see them again. Such bad luck our town has experienced." The old farmer again said, "Why do you continue to insist an event is good or bad? We do not know the end from the beginning. Why can't you just say, our son's been drafted and only time will tell if it's good or not? Now, this is my personal Socrates story, and it's true. Only time will tell if an event is good or bad. Jay and I had 3 children and a wonderful family life on the dairy farm, and it was good. And then one day in 1970, our calves started dying in the exact order that they were born at approximately 4 weeks old. We took the carcasses to the university in Logan, sterilized the barn, called the vets, and they couldn't give us a diagnosis. They continued to die. We could not stay in the dairy business if we couldn't raise calves. Then one evening that summer, Jay went out to feed the cows freshly chopped hay, as he had for years, and the next morning 6 of our best milk cows had bloated and died. Their carcasses were strewn about the yard. Circumstances were not good. They were indeed critically bleak, and there was nothing good about it. A few weeks after that, we stood at our front room window and watched a hailstorm move across our lower 50 acres and absolutely wipe out our beautiful ripened crop. It did not touch any of the neighboring fields. Before you complain about your boss, take on old Mother Nature. We looked at one another and asked, what's happening to us? Why us? What have we done to merit such wrath and such misfortune? Bad things just don't happen to good people. It was clear that we had to do something else to make a living. We couldn't bear the thought of losing the farm and our lifestyle. We had to close the door on farming and open another immediately. We sold the cows. Jay got a job at the county. Then he bought a truck and hauled canned milk from Chesterfield to Richmond, Utah every day. It was a killer job, but he wasn't afraid of hard work, and he liked being his own boss. Mother took care of the children. I went back to college to finish my teaching degree. I drove over the old Fish Creek dirt road for 2 years in a little Buick Opal station wagon that had a motor like a Maytag washing machine. Gas was 25 cents a gallon. We did this. It cost me $1.50 a day to make that trip. We did this for 2 years, then I signed a contract to teach in Soda Springs, and Jay went to work at Monsanto. I opened the schoolhouse door in 1973. Many of our farmer friends asked why Jay would choose to work at a smoky old plant instead of working the farm. We simply had no choice in the matter. Our hands were tied. As it turned out, Monsanto was a huge benefit for us. Jay was a diabetic and could not get insurance of any kind, which was really, really bad. So with the Monsanto job came health and death benefits that we could not otherwise have had, and that was really, really good. We worked for 9 years and were able to pay off our debts, and then came the 1980s and the economy turned upside down, and my husband's health failed. He passed away in 1982 after a kidney transplant and a bout with spinal meningitis. My 3 teenagers and I were on our own. After Jay's funeral, I stood at the same window where we watched the hail destroy the crop. I looked at the farmland, this sacred plot of earth, our home. There had been 8 farms lost in our valley in the past 2 years. I felt ancestors and Jay very near. I still had our farm, a warm house, and a good job, and 2 hands eager to work. At that time, Monsanto Insurance paid the biggest hospital bill they had ever paid for one person, plus a death benefit. It was clear without the forced changes in our life, we would have lost everything. I would have been destitute and without an education. My career has been a source of great joy and security in my life. Suddenly, I recalled the words spoken 9 years ago in front of that window. Why us? Why me? What may appear to be devastating in reality may be for our good. My experience tells me that there is an omnipotent hand that works together with us for our best good, for our spiritual growth. Without that, I would have never made friends of these beautiful spirits that are on the stage tonight. I can see now that every bad thing that happened to me in my life had a purpose, and it brought about a change for good in my growth. Oliver Goldsmith said, "Our greatest glory consists not in never failing or falling, but rising every time we fall." I want you to take a good look at your hands, students. Jack Johnson, a songwriter, sings a song entitled, "With My Own Two Hands." I can change the world with my own two hands, make it a better place, make it a kinder place. I can make peace on earth. I can hold you and comfort you with my own two hands. But you've got to use your own two hands, your own head, and open your own doors. May your hands be a part of our world's solutions rather than a part of its problems. Thanks for sharing your dreams, and thanks for trusting me. I have missed you. It's hard to say goodbye. Victor Borges said, "Every time I say good night, every time I say goodbye, I die a little bit." I feel like I'm saying goodbye to a big part of myself. I love your bright spirits, and I shall tuck you into my heart this night and enjoy pleasant thoughts of you until my light goes out.